And you probably know us for Time's Up or Hanabi. But yeah, we've been coming to GAMA a long, long time. Started here with our first game. We released our first game here in 1996, back when it was in, I believe, Las Vegas. Yeah, at the old, what was it, the Orleans? Yeah.
Oh, is that still up? They tear that down?
I don't know.
That's
I
been
haven't been there in a while.
I've not been to Vegas. Probably, I don't know. I've
Yeah.
lost count of times I've been to Vegas. It's been many
Yeah,
years.
I know. Yeah. But yeah, and over the years we just grew and grew, and we're still here having a fun time.
Excellent. Cool. So you're exhibiting this year, right?
We are exhibitors here, yep, and we have our booth. We have new games to show. We have, the stalwart games that we always sell, but we have every year several new games that we like to showcase, and this year's no different. We've got some party games. We've got a card game, some strategy. A little bit of everything.
You mentioned Time's Up earlier.
Yes.
I hear there may be a little announcement this week about that game.
Is there?
Yes.
Oh, this sounds exciting.
It does. So we have our board meeting Wednesday night, and we're going to be announcing our Origin Awards nominees for the 2024-25 years, but also for our Hall of Fame inductees.
Oh.
And I heard that maybe the game of yours might be on the list for the Hall of Fame inductee.
Well, that's exciting.
It is, isn't it? A
I'm
little
very
surprise there, a
excited to
little
hear
spoiler
that.
alert.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're going to put the full set out tomorrow night.
Well, fingers crossed.
Definitely. So hopefully we'll see you there, and then
Absolutely.
at Origins in June was the Origin Award ceremony. It's on Friday night, and then we'll do all the Hall of Fame inductees during that meeting. So hopefully I will see you there, because something might happen. I don't know, but hope to see you there.
I look forward to it. That sounds like a fun time.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your time today.
Absolutely, John.
Enjoy the rest of GAMA Expo.
Oh yeah.
All right. Take care now.
in the Azul series. Azul Duel, a game designed specifically for 2 players where you are competing head-to-head to decorate the ceiling of the Palace of Sintra. Building upon the Azul series legacy, you are still drafting tiles from the center factories and placing them in your pattern lines on your player board. When you eventually complete a horizontal line, you'll move them over and score points. If you're able to efficiently fill your pattern and combo in-game scoring objectives, you'll win the game. But Azul Duel offers new gameplay with even more tactical options and strategic depth than its family of predecessors. The game takes place over 5 rounds, each of which is composed of the following phases: acquisition, dome tiling and scoring, and lastly, preparation. Let's take a deep dive on how acquisition works with the 4 available actions to a player and highlight new gameplay tailored for head-to-head competition. The first and maybe most unique are these dome tiles. As an action, you'll either take a dome tile from the central board or pay 1 point to draw from the dome pile. After you've made your decision, you'll place the dome tile on one of your empty dome spaces. It can be oriented and placed in any of the available spots on your player board, but once it's locked in, it can't be changed. Essentially, with this action, you are creating ways on how you want to score points in the future. Each round, you'll take this action exactly twice, indicated by using your player token. So, by the 5th and last round of the game, you'll have all your dome plates filled on your player board. Another example is when taking tiles from the factory. You now have a number of options. Each factory is now divided into a sun and a moon side, with one of them also being a large factory. When taking from the sun side, you'll pick all tiles of the same color from one factory, so like this, or like this. Now, if I'm taking from the small factories or large factory, it does determine what happens next. If you take from the large factory, you'll take all the remaining tiles and place them onto the individual moon spaces. If you take from one of the small factories, you'll stack all remaining tiles from the sun side onto the moon side of that factory in any order you choose. With that, we now can explain taking tiles from the moon side. As an action, you'll take all matching top tiles of the same color from all 5 factories' moons. Take note that each space of the large factory moon is considered to be on top, so I did take this red tile as well. Also, if you're the first player to pick 1 or more tiles from the large factory's moon, you must also take the starting player tile and place it onto your player board in the indicated space. It will let you go first next round, but you'll lose 2 points for doing so. Whether you took tiles from the sun or moon side, once you've made your decision, just like the original, all tiles you gained on your turn must be added to exactly one of the 6 horizontal pattern lines on the left side of your player board. Let's talk about another one of the 4 available actions to you. Take a bonus chip. When the last tile is taken from a small factory's moon, a bonus chip is revealed that was underneath it. Once revealed, as an action, you're able to take this chip and place it face up onto your bonus chip storage area on your player board. During each round, you'll take exactly 2 bonus chips. And because of this, the bonus chip area is divided into 5 sections on your player board to help you keep track of rounds. These chips will be used during the scoring phase to help you complete incomplete pattern lines and score points by combining 2 of the colors to make one shape, or you can also use 3 to make it whichever color you choose. The acquisition phase ends once all tiles and chips are cleared from the factories and both players have used their 2 player tokens to draft dome tiles. Then we move to the scoring phase. The scoring phase occurs similar to those familiar with Azul. You'll score 1 point if there are no tiles directly adjacent vertically or horizontally to the newly placed tile. But if there are any adjacent tiles, check if there are 1 or more tiles horizontally and vertically linked to the newly placed tile. If so, count all these linked tiles, including the newly placed one, and score that many points. So in this instance, I would count 1, 2, 3 for the horizontally linked tiles and 4, 5, 6 for the vertically linked tiles, including the newly placed tile both times for a total of 6 points. And to reiterate, strategically placing your dome tiles on your personal board can make such a big impact in scoring. The same colors can now be in the same horizontal line, and some dome tiles even have a wild color space that allow any color tile. If ever a tile fills the third space of a special dome plate like this one here, add a special tile from the supply to the matching space and you'll score the points on the right side of that row. With the scoring phase finished, it's time to prepare for the next round. Drawing from this bag, refill the large factory with 5 tiles and each small factory with 4 tiles. Then, take back your 2 player tokens from the scoring board that was used to take your dome tiles, and refill the dome display back to 3. Then, place a bonus chip face down on the moon side of all small factories. The player with the starting player tile returns that tile to its space on the large factory and starts the new round. The game ends after 5 rounds, which is followed by scoring the tablets. For your first game, players will score 3 points for each complete horizontal line on your dome, 7 points for each complete vertical line, and 10 points for each complete diagonal line on your dome. Once you've played a few games, additional scoring tablets can be used and randomized for advanced play. These are just a few examples of the new dynamic gameplay tailored for head-to-head competition in Azul Duel. The back and forth play, making offers to your opponent they can't refuse, and setting up for your next turn offers a new experience never seen before in the series. Whether you're new to the Azul series or a seasoned player, Azul Duel offers endless replayability for fans and newcomers alike. For more details or further rule clarifications, consult the rulebook as it'll have all the information you need. Also, please be sure to check out your local favorite hobby store to pick up a copy of your own. I hope you enjoy your playthroughs of this exciting new adventure into the Azul series, and we'll see you at the table.
Hello, this is John Stacy here at GAMA Expo 2025. The guest is Mike Webb of Paizo.
Hi, good to see you.
Mike is a long-term member of the association, former member of our board of directors, very good guy involved in the Origins, all the programs. And I've asked Mike to join me today talking about his experience with GAMA over the years, how it's evolved, where
Definitely.
we are now. And we're obviously removed those where we are now, but where the show's come over the years from your tenure, I'd just love to get your feedback on that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the show so far today has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, we're talking record numbers, right? We're talking over 1,100 retailers, over 3,300, I think you said, individuals coming. Definitely the premier opportunity to network and to have professionals at all different areas network, talk about how they can work better together. Obviously, I'm a publisher. I'm selling to my distributors. I'm selling to retailers here. But I'm also meeting new vendors, new people that might supply, new partners. We do licensing. It's just such a great opportunity to have everybody in one place, and we can really network together in it. And that's really been the strength of GAMA and the GAMA Expo in particular, or back in the day, the GAMA Trade Show. It's really been a strength of the show, but it's really come alive, I think, in the last couple of years here. We've really appreciated it. So. Yeah,
absolutely. It's amazing. We were talking about that a little earlier. We did a show of hands at the opening welcome tonight, and probably a third of the room of people for the first time here.
Absolutely.
It's like that dynamism happening at the show this week.
It's such a great opportunity, and for the retailers that, it's the retailers that it's their first time, or the vendors, or the authors, right? The creators. Such an opportunity to learn, and this business especially, one of the things I've always loved about it is that people are so generous in sharing information and making sure that others don't have to go through the same pitfalls that they did. And, when I got in this industry back in the late 90s, I looked up at the grand old men of the industry. And now I look, and you and I both have some gray in our beard. We are becoming the grand old men, maybe not grand.
Well, the gray old
We're the old men in the industry. And, it's our turn to pay back some of that we got when we were getting our start in the business. So that's one of the other things I love about the show. It's not just the business opportunities here. It's the opportunity to pay back some of the generosity of those that came before us, because in the end, we win as an industry My competition isn't somebody else making role-playing games. My competition isn't somebody else, trying to do what I'm doing. My competition is 20th Century Fox. My competition is Activision. And the more that we can work together and find ways to get more people at tables playing games face-to-face or over virtual tabletops now, the better it is for all of us and the better future that we've got built for years to come.
Absolutely. I always suggest that this is the largest co-op game you ever play.
Exactly.
You didn't want to work together to lift the industry up as a whole.
We all win.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I love that victory condition.
Yes.
So.
Excellent.
Good stuff.
So before we go, I just want to ask you about Origins. This is our 5th anniversary for the show.
50 years, man.
Yeah, and I want to get your, you've been going for a long time, like I have, and so I'm curious about your impressions of that show and what it means to you as this industry.
Origins. I've been in the business professionally for right at 30 years. Origins was always the show I went to because I enjoyed playing. It was the show that a lot of professionals I know that are in the business went to because it was a show that reminded us we love what we do and we love what we sell. We sell fun in the box, and it's so easy to get caught up in the business of it and lose sight of the joy people have in playing. And I've run miniature games, 700 square feet of table space, and had people just coming and enjoying it. I've sat down and played simple card games that have become absolute favorites. It's a show that's about play more than anything, and that's one of the things I absolutely love. I haven't been able to be there in the past couple of years, but I intend to be back this year because it's the best opportunity to remind myself our industry is about making people smile.
Absolutely.
And it makes me smile to go.
Well, here's that makes me smile, and I appreciate your time today.
Excellent. Appreciate all you do.
It was a pleasure to connect with you, and thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Hey, take care now.
Thanks.
Bye.
Hello and welcome back to GAMA Expo Plus. Thank you so much for joining us for this stream. We are joined by one final guest for the evening. Hung Lee, thank you so much for joining us to come and wrap out the show. We're so excited that you're here. This is a topic that I'm excited to find out because I know nothing about this. We're talking a little bit about domestic manufacturing. So for the people at home, let's say it's somebody who has, right now they're looking at their first time manufacturing overall. Where would you encourage them to start if they wanted to explore domestic manufacturing?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Thank you
really
for
excited.
Sorry, I jumped right into it.
Not at all. Really excited to be part of this interview, and thanks for the opportunity again. But yeah, so if you're just getting started in gaming and wanting to publish a game and don't know where to go, I think the easy button for folks for many years has just been to go to China, because I think there's a lot of word of mouth here, and I like people just. That's the easy button for folks. But what we were trying to do today, we had a panel seminar today, which was very well attended.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of interest in this area that people just don't know that the U.S. has good domestic manufacturing options for tabletop games, right? And so one of the things we did today was really to raise that awareness that there are options here in the United States, not just for small volumes, but for large volumes. I mean, manufacturing in the United States has been here for decades. When you think about, where, all the games that are nostalgic and and love by heart, like the Monopolies, the Boggles, the Trivial Pursuits, right? Those things have been produced here for a very long time. So I think the first thing they can do is if you just search, I know this sounds very silly, right? But just a simple Google search, right, for domestic manufacturing for tabletop game boards, and you'll get a few options. I would say, specifically for my company as well, I think, once you get there, you'll be directed to, hopefully to someone on my team or myself as well, and we can walk you through, like, are we the right partners for you guys to make your games?
Tell us a little bit about what you do in manufacturing,
and your
specifically
history
your history.
Yeah, I love it. So first of all, it's a topic near and dear to my heart, right? But I have a long history of manufacturing. I've been in packaging and packaging manufacturing for over 25 years. But to be fully transparent, I've only been with gaming for the last 11 months. So this industry is a very new segment to me.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to me about, consumer products, my products and customers in the past were folks like Procter & Gamble, Unilever, and, Pfizer's, Coca-Cola's of the world, right? I could tell you about consumer insights and what they want and how we manufacture products there. I'm having a lot of fun learning about gamers and gaming in general. I mean, where else can you work in an industry that really brings people together, right? Families, friends, game nights, right? And so I think just taking on that 20 plus years of experience in packaging manufacturing and applying it to tabletop games, because the way things are made and packaging is made, it's the same, right?
Yeah.
It's only the end markets that's different. So I think what I bring is that experience, right, to the space, and it's been fun applying it to a different market.
That's so cool to hear. In almost a year.
Almost a year,
coming
yes.
up. Have you played a ton of games in the last 11 months? Have you had time?
I have. It's been like speed dating.
Yeah.
With folks, like just this industry, while it's just to the casual consumer, it seems very simple and fun when you go down the toy aisle, right? Your mass market retailer.
Yeah.
It is very complicated. Just the way people are connected. I mean, it's a spaghetti diagram of inventors, publishers, distributors, consolidators, manufacturers, right? And then multiply that across the globe around the various people that play in those different functions. And what I've also learned is not just the complexity of it, but the flip side of that, it is very believe it or not, it's a very small industry. People know people here and have been here for a very long time. So me as a newbie, this past year has been really just learning the ropes, getting to know the people, the players, and the games. And to answer your question, I'm probably the worst gamer. If you ask my children, right, they are so embarrassed of me, and they will just, there's no mercy. They will just take me on and take me down.
They never let you win.
Never, ever.
Can't
never,
give you
ever.
one.
Right. But being in this industry, I've been exposed to so many more games I would normally have played, right?
That's so wonderful.
It's been a lot of fun.
So then this is probably your first GAMA Expo.
It is definitely the first GAMA Expo. So I've done the Expo rounds, right? This so far has been a very nice change of pace. It is, I would say, compared to the other expos, it's a little more intimate.
Yeah.
I like the beginning part of this where it's prior to the exhibition halls opening up. There are a ton of people here already, a ton of meetings happening, right? And a ton of things getting done, but all at a different pace. We were heading from meeting to meeting to meeting, but inside those conversations, there's a little bit of a slower pace than at the other expos. So this has been a very nice change.
That's very nice.
That's awesome.
And since you spoke to kind of it being rather tight-knit and everybody kind of knowing each other, hopefully this is a good week to get to know all of those people.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of those people in that, really it's one singular circle,
right,
are here in the building, which
sure.
is really, really cool.
I want to learn a little bit more about like the differences that you see in like manufacturing in China versus like manufacturing domestically.
Yeah.
Like, what do you see across the board as like maybe benefits that you might have here versus China working with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think first off, just to be perfectly fair, Chinese manufacturing is really strong.
Yeah,
they are the leading manufacturing superpower in the world by double. The United States is second, right? And then after that, it falls off the list on how big folks are in manufacturing. And I think that in the past, there was a stereotype that, Chinese products were kind of cheap or bad quality or whatever. But I will tell you, that is no longer true, right?
Yeah.
So Chinese products are very good. And the reason that I want to make aware of people in the United States about U.S. domestic manufacturing is not because we're bashing one or the other, right? It just makes smart business sense to produce locally. If you're going to sell games in a region, whether it be United States, whether it be Europe, whether it be China, it just makes sense financially, business-wise, environmentally, right, to produce where you're going to make. Produce where you're going to distribute. And so the main differences, right, I would say between us and Asia is if you have a game that's going to go to mass or retail here in the United States, you're going to save on shipping costs, right? It takes about 40 days for a container to get from China, right, to the U.S. port. So not only is a game produced in China, but you've got to wait 40 days before the product can hit the ports here. That means that your time to revenue is you're waiting, right? Most of the time you're paid already for that product. Now, before the product even hits the shelf and you see $1 on your return, you have to wait 40 days. So there is the time to market aspect of producing in the United States. There is also the, in addition to that, is this distribution, right? In that 4 days, we can get from the East Coast to West Coast in anywhere in 5 days, right? So from the East Coast to Mississippi, it's about 3 days, right? Beyond that, it's 5. So you're already getting on the shelves a little bit faster than you would if you were shipped overseas. And from a sustainability standpoint, you're not shipping stuff halfway across the world, right? So there are a lot of good reasons, right, to produce local for local.
I feel like probably a lot of potentially new developers or people that have been manufacturing internationally would be concerned about cost. I'm sure that's something that like people are just kind of afraid to broach because they'd assume that it would be a big difference.
Right.
Can you speak a little bit to the cost differences?
Yeah. Well, first off, people aren't afraid about that at all. They are very quick to say, "Hey, cost is a major driver."
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And look, like anything else, if you have time, right, and if cost is your main driver, I'm going to tell you that you're better off going to China, right? Because there is no way in the United States we can match their labor rates, right? Their labor rates are cheaper.
Yep.
They have looser regulations around, work environment. They usually don't pay the same benefits as we do in the United States, right? So the labor cost itself is about 7 times higher, right? So the average worker makes what they make in a day here. What they make in an hour there. I'm flubbing this up, right?
Hour here?
Yes. So it's 7 times. So it's like 7 times the cost, right?
Yeah.
To for us, right?
Yeah.
to
So
make.
1 day is a week then.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that is just labor alone, right?
Yeah.
And again, all the other things I mentioned, right? The regulatory environments, right? The shipping time, the benefits, all those stack up, so that from a cost perspective, it's hard to compete. But there are other ways we compete, right? Time to market. You're speaking to people in your language, in your own time zone, right? If you want to visit our factories, we're a lot easier to visit than to get a trip to Asia, right? And there's also a lot of value add, right? For being in the United States, for American manufacturers as well. So while cost is a main driver, I think the first thing we ask you is, what are your other priorities, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be game quality, right? Is it going to be conversations with other partners in the United States, right? Can we help you with distribution of your games? Can we help you, right, connect with those that can manufacture games if we're not able to do it, right? Because there's also a scale piece of it in the United States as well. So I would say for my company, we deal in MOQs or minimum order quantities of about 5,000 games, right? Anything below that, we tend to be not as attractive. And so, the Asian suppliers, right, tend to really win the day, but there are also smaller volume manufacturers in the United States that can play in that space as well. I think that's really part of why I'm here today and some other domestic manufacturers here, and really appreciate the airtime here, because I think that is one of the things that people don't know about.
Yeah. I think that GAMA is a really excellent resource for getting information that you can't necessarily always just find on Google,
Absolutely.
right? It takes a little bit more digging to find people who have experience with it to answer those questions that are intimidating to ask sometimes.
It was shocking, right, to me when I first joined GAMA. So I figured, what is the best way to learn about the industry? Well, let's join GAMA, right? And one of the first things that, John and other folks at GAMA told me was, Hung, our association members don't know where to go to get their games made in the United States. And to me, it's like, how is that possible? We are one of the largest tabletop game manufacturers in the world, right? Yeah. And how do they know to give us a phone call? And they said they just don't.
Can you actually tell us about your company?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let us know.
No, the company we work for is called Cardamundi.
Okay.
And it stands for Cards of the World. It's amazing. It's a very old company, about 300 years old. It's a joint venture between 2 families, right? So it started off as playing cards. So I think in Belgium. So it's a Belgium-based company. Started playing as playing cards, and then expanded over the years. So we also own a United States playing card, which, if you're familiar with bicycle, we play cards with bicycle playing cards, right?
Definitely.
That's our brand. We make another brand called B, and we make cards for casinos as well. So that's one part of the business where we make our own brands, right? The other part of the business, which I'm in, is called our solutions group. And the 2 pieces that make up that are the trading cards, collectibles work that we have, and also the tabletop games. So a lot of people who know Cardamundi know us for our trading card business.
Yeah.
We were the original manufacturers of Magic the Gathering, right?
Okay.
So 20-odd years ago, right? And so we still are. We provide the TCGs for the big players, right? You talk about Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Got them all.
Yeah.
All those.
Yeah.
So
Caught them all,
people associate our company with quality and with a long history of really good products. And so that's why, for me, getting them to understand that we also have that in the tabletop game side of business is really important.
Yeah. Were there any other kind of surprise takeaways from your presentation today? Anything that you saw, maybe a reaction you weren't expecting? I know sometimes when I've given presentations, I'm like, oh, I didn't expect people to be like, that one.
I think a combination of this presentation, I also gave a presentation on sustainability as well as part of that panel. And I think sustainability always comes up in things because I think for the most part, people want to do the right thing, make their products more sustainable, make it a bit greener. And I think the misconception is it's easier said than done. And like anything else, the devil's in the details, right? Because I think the first thing people will say, well, you know what? Just make your package smaller and take away the empty space, right? But what consumers don't know is that if you make one package smaller, let's say you have four SKUs of the same game, right? The first game has very little space because it's packed full of instructions or pieces or components. The last game you have, right, it's a bigger game board and it has fewer components. Well, if you made a package for each one, that's 4 times the tooling cost you have to do and 4 times the setups and 4 times the sizes. But if you were to have like the Goldilocks version, say, you know what, I can make one size of the game where that, it will barely fit everything in one component, but there's going to be more space over here because the other game SKU doesn't have to make. You're going to see that. You're going to see differences, right? But you're going to have the savings of the combined standard packaging, right? So I think what people don't understand when they thought it was saying to be, it's easy to say, make a small package. Well, behind the scenes, it may not be because it may cost the company more to make 4 different packages that fit your components exactly right versus one that fits multiple.
Yeah, multiple.
Right?
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
We talked to Atlas Games, right, yesterday, and they were talking about how just as a game designer, asking questions during the manufacturing process. They were making these plastic cards for years, and then they started asking, like, well, are there other options, and really searching for it.
Right.
And they found, like, one that's, like, 50% less dangerous for the environment. You know what I mean? But simply by asking and not really knowing or having that present, like, they were able to make a huge change.
I think you bring a great point, right? Because I think one of the things that we're really trying to do is don't pick a supplier, pick a partner. Right? Because a supplier will make what you want. If all you want is the lowest price, you say, make this, they will make that, right? But if you have a partner and relationships, I could have that conversation with you, Carlos, and say, hey, listen, actually, right, if you made that game just a little bit smaller, we can get more up on the machine, which lowers your cost, right? Or, instead of making this one component where we have, to import it overseas and it's a long lead time item, we can have an alternative for you that does this, does the same thing, for lower costs and faster time to market. So I think that's the difference that we're trying to have. Like, let's have a relationship versus just a transactional type relationship.
Because you might be missing out on, like, all the things that could, like, actually potentially save you money or get you more time on shelves or shipping or, like, just making a better product.
Absolutely. Right? You want to engineer efficiencies out of the process. If you come to me already with a game design, it's tough for me to move on the price because at that point I have to make what you tell me to make, and I may not have that tooling. I may have to buy additional tooling, right, which is going to bring more cost into the game. And if we don't have the conversation on, back to sustainability, on what your priorities are, right? If you truly want to be sustainable, let me know that's your top priority, right? Then I will give you the options that are the most sustainable, that are most recyclable, right? But if you just tell me that, hey, sustainability is important, I'll give you other options, right? For instance, a misperception is, hey, you know what? I'll just make my product out of bamboo, paper made out of bamboo. Okay. Which on the surface sounds fantastic, right? Have you ever seen bamboo grow? It just grows crazy. Yeah. Well, the problem with that is the infrastructure in the world is not set up to make paper out of bamboo, right? So it's a boutique business, and so the prices are going to be higher, right? And then what's also counterproductive is bamboo is not recyclable in the current recycling system, right? So the product you thought was going to be green, right, all of a sudden is actually worse, right, than you think it is. So again, back to the conversation. Let's have that conversation, right? Domestic manufacturer, right? We speak you're in your time zone, you speak the language, right? And we can educate as well.
That guidance is really invaluable, and I think it gives you an opportunity to do much more involved quality checking, and that isn't a commentary on the quality of any type of manufacturing.
Right,
but when you speak the language, when you have partners, when you have somebody that you can directly communicate with like that, you have the ability to oversee the process a little more finely.
Well, we're all moving so fast, right? And nothing is intentional, but sometimes you miss things. Well, and it's hard. We miss things in English, right? Let alone trying to have English as a second, or third, or fourth language.
Absolutely. Right? That's really wonderful. If somebody has already been manufacturing internationally, whether it be in China or elsewhere, do you have any recommendations for somebody trying to make that transition, whether it be in response to the potential tariffs or just somebody that wants to be manufacturing locally? Would you give them any kind of recommendations of what some good first steps are?
Yeah, give Carter Monday a call.
There you go. All right. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Yes, look us up. Hit me up, right? I'd love to talk to you about, how we can help you grow your business and how we can help bring your game manufacturing back to the United States.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's really insightful. That's so helpful. I learned so much about manufacturing in just a few minutes. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much
Thank
for
you
coming to talk to us.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
This has been really wonderful. And hopefully people can connect with you through GAMA and get some of that wonderful guidance hands-on. We really appreciate it.
Looking forward to it. I hope this is not a one and done.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for GAMA Expo Plus. We really appreciate it. The seminars that we've been talking about, so many have been referenced throughout today's streams, are coming out bit by bit. There are going to be 4 released this evening, and we have a few preview clips that are coming up right after the stream today. So if you want to check out what to look forward to, stick around. That's it, everybody. I'm Sage Ryan.
I'm Carlos Luna.
And we'll see you next time.
It is when you take a pitch or agree to a pitch meeting, what is the expected state of that game for you?
So one of the things that's most important to understand is that you are putting your game in front of a person who is ostensibly very knowledgeable about how games work. The job of someone who's with a company who is taking a pitch for a game is to look at your design and to see a finished product in it. So you don't. So when you pitch, there are people that sometimes obsess that it has to be perfect, it has to look good, it has to do everything that a published game would do, and that's just not true. You need to be able to put something in front of a person that's going to communicate your vision, that's going to accurately represent your mechanisms, and that you feel is going to give that person the best chance to see that published game within your prototype. Now that, again, there's a lot of things that you don't have to do to get it to that. You don't have to have finished graphics. You don't have to have a rule set that is completely detailed, though it must be a rule set that has been tested and accounts for the basic rules and any of the problems and exceptions you may have encountered so far. Our job is going to be to take it and find a lot more. And ultimately, the other thing you have to remember is that for as much as you don't need to do a lot of things, there are some things that you should be very aware of. So if you are taking time to do some graphic design on your own or by consultation, keep in mind that things like anything you can do to speed up the timing of your game, the play length of your game, that's money and time and graphics well spent. You want to represent your game as best as you can. Timing is one of the things that critically we look at oftentimes about a game. How long does it take to play? And if the graphic decisions you have made with your prototype are going to extend the play of that game in prototype form, that's something I would absolutely say this is a thing you need to test for and possibly put a little bit of extra effort in graphic design on. But ultimately, again, you're pitching to someone who knows what they're looking at and can ideally see the vision for what it can be. And you just have to get it to the point where you're communicating enough of that with your prototype to get it into our eyes and our brains.
Okay, so let's